Alright, so guys, I'm not going to try to push and rush this video too much. I'm going to just take my time with it. It doesn't matter if it's a 20 or 40 minute video. I'm just going to go with what I can do. Like the show I just released about the Foster romance thing. I'm just going to go with this as I go along with it. I'm just going to literally just go with it as I go along with it. I'm going to not pressure myself to do communication skills stuff like I've been studying this week already. Uh, the communication stuff I've been studying. And yeah, recent, so. Or last week, or it was. I'm not gonna pressure any like life skill stuff right now. I'm not gonna pressure myself to say certain things in a certain way. Hopefully, as long as it's maybe acceptable to a certain extent, that's understandably acceptable, and not pushing, rushing, not even that. I'm gonna just do this as it comes along. I'm not gonna worry about the title of this video. I'm just gonna work topicless, I guess, for now. So the topic would be just be nothing for now. I will in this video. I will get a little bit into like the niching down stuff, the focusing, the quality, all that, custom thumbnails, etc. But for now, I'm just gonna like chill out and just make it like I'm all right, which I very much am all right. But I did just relapse on PMO, but but yeah. So I will say that vlogging has already been as much involvement as that has been for me. I will already have had more than two vlogs in 2 years, and not even the gap between them, but actually like have made more content than that with vlogging. But my other content in between them has actually kind of had this vlogging before too. So just as it comes along like that. But you know, what I'm getting at with that is that yeah, I was actually going to try to make more vlogs. I was going to try to make them in succession with one another, and not too soon or too late, but just not even for consistency's sake or even quality's sake. I would just make them on my own terms at the point, even with the volume of things, you know. Actually, in this video, I might cover the shorts that I just made, the philosophy shorts, the romance one. I could cover that a little bit in this video if I want to, but because I want to just release it right off the bat, and make sure I was ready to go. Because once I made the bolt script thing, it was gonna be hard to explain, especially after relapse to PMO. So you know, but anyways, with vlogging, I expect to make more vlogs, not just particularly about multitasking, but about things like I don't have to niche down right away, but I could, and then if I did, then have a vlog about cartooning or claymation or soft skills or philosophy or strategic planning or music, piano, or have it be like this gambit of, oh, I have this life story stuff going on, but that's also kind of writing as well, so or screenplay writing. But yeah, I'm not scatterbrained right now. You might think I am, but I care about what you're thinking because that's the kind of person I am. I'm not comparing myself to you necessarily, but that's how I care about it as well. I should really get to explain that last short though, because yeah, that was actually pretty intense. Like for me, it was. It was like I knew that I was doing my best that moment for that 1 minute, but you know, this is already 3 minutes, so should have to say that. But the thing behind that short was that I was trying to make a point about my relapse, I guess maybe to pornography, but I was more than that. I was trying to make sure that I knew I was getting things off my chest in a time and manner, whether it was about anything else or not. But yeah, I believe those things I said in that short, that that women should care about desperation and clinginess, that it is possible to have women as a priority and a purpose, and that all those other things. I mean that stuff. I just it's not just to be contrary, although contrariness and stubbornness is a part of it, but it is to make a point about my deep, unique controversies and philosophies that aren't just unique to me, because I know people have felt the same way and thought the same thing before. There's a great psychology book about that kind of stuff that I've read before, but about how we don't have to be alone with these things. But I'm not trying to express shame and all that. I don't have shame or a lack of looking from within or this all it's weird because people always question that. They're like, why don't you look from within, Otto? Why don't you, uh, why do you have shame for these things? I don't have shame. I don't have guilt. I don't have a problem looking from within. I'm good doing that. And I'm actually the kind of person who knows what they're doing, even if they don't know what's going on around them. That's how I am. And I don't know if that's obviously come across to people or not, even if as I explain it. And sometimes I'll even ask for help, and people are like, okay, what kind of help do you need? And I don't know how to tell them that. It's like, okay, I sense you need help. That's the point. I need help. I just don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, and I don't even have emotions. I'm faking these emotions, but right now I'm faking these emotions. So I'm faking half, 50%, if not more, of my emotions, just to make a point about the last short, I guess. Forcing emotions. That was in other shorts as well. That was in other shorts. I teased that idea before, but I don't have emotions, and if I do, they're just not untampered with until I come up with ways to bring them back, and not limited to no fucking semen retention. So Funny thing about stream retention is that I've always been on the fence about it, and not even just considering the OnlyFans controversy. Oh my gosh, long story with that. But with how people are dealing with that policy ban thing. But I'm about to do a podcast episode with one of my friends about either OnlyFans or pornography or whatever. So that's gonna be fun. But or porn addiction, whatever the community, sorry, whoever that's gonna be about. So, but I do think that it's not that I don't have emotions. It's just that maybe things like no. Okay, so the thing with semen retention is I was on the fence about it, but if I actually truly did commit to semen retention, I would not regret it. The problem that I see is that I personally want to live my life on my own terms without judging it too much on based on what would be best for me or what would be better for me otherwise. I want to see what I can do with it without being too afraid of what people think of it. And not in that's not context too, because I see I see the world differently. So even compared to things like that, it's like I compare and contrast things not just to compare people to others as well as me. I don't necessarily compare myself to other people, but I do it in a different way because I'm controversial. I see the world differently. I don't mean to diss myself when people when I say that, but so I put it in better terms. But yeah, I don't. I think that if I bailed on semen retention early or even later, it wouldn't be out of vein of not having creative vibration or energy or manifestation. It would not be less energy. It would not be less humility and celibacy or virginity, whatever. It wouldn't be like that. It'd be like I would know what I was doing, and I would still be able to prove that even if I learned things along the way that proved me wrong otherwise. So semen retention or not, I'd be good with that. So I'm so on the fence about that. But if even I made my mind to have semen retention, but no, or not. But you know, wherever however that works for the lifestyle, because it is a lifestyle either way. No fat, semen retention, all that. So, anyways, by the way, so the relapse I just had was not that bad. I felt mind control again, as I may have said before, mind control over the urge, sexual urge. It wasn't that bad, but it was. I pick myself up. I always figure myself by default. I forgive myself every single time I relapse because it doesn't have to be. It's not hard to be open and honest, even when I dox myself. I'm gonna make a video about that. Actually, even if it's not allowed. Sorry, gonna give me in trouble for that one, for not actually being vague or giving examples, whatever, of that kind of stuff, whatever example that would be. But I think that with the relapses, it's not hard to be open and honest, but I can see why people think that's hard. That's actually beautiful to be doing either way, and it's not hard to forgive myself, even though I can see why people are amazing that I can do that. So some of the easy things can still be beautiful. That's why they're underrated and overlooked. So I admit that myself. I understand that myself. But the relapse itself wasn't that bad. It was just like, oh, I 6 days of no FAP, like 2 days or 3 days of semen retention. Young Lavelle says that you should be doing, you should go for a month of no FAP and a week of semen retention at the same time if you can do it over the course of your streaks and lifestyles, whatever. But yeah, so with the niche, focus, and quality, I'm going to eventually come to the point where even if I don't completely niche down, I at least focus on some things better than others. And I don't say that in a pandering, critical way. I don't mean that in a prejudiced way either. What I mean is that if I don't niche down soon after this stuff, like where I'm making these videos and it's like, oh, this guy never had to learn his lesson, and not even like that, not even like that. I'm just making a vague extreme example. But it's just, if I niche down at this point now, what I would do is vlogging, claymation, philosophy, soft skills, and pretty much life story stuff. So it'd be the gambit of those 5 things. It'd be claymation has the branch of like cartooning, and claymation would include cartooning, and then vlogging would include life story and autobiography or whatever else. Soft skills would include marketing management, maybe even obviously strategic planning, but or maybe not even salesmanship, but like more other things like that. So it'd be like that. It'd be a priority of philosophy and soft skills, hopefully including cartooning and claymation, and then definitely going to be a vlog series or so, or whatever else, vlogging and life story stuff, autobiography, whatever. I keep saying autobiography like a yearbook, autobiography stuff. My next birthday, man, in like freaking 6 or less months, is like actually like, Jesus, I'm actually gonna be 25 and still thinking that I'm this hot shot that I may or may not be. But if I really am not that kind of person, at least I'll still be grateful. So that tells you a lot about me anyways, even if I'm not that important. But I am important to myself at the very most, so there you go. But yeah. I do think that the niche could be better as a variety content multitasking channel, but that's what I've been doing it lately with or without growth. And that I grew anyways a little bit for some reason, even with multitasking and variety, which I'm grateful for. That's a pretty badass way to see it. That I still grew my channel and didn't have to, because I don't think even most people who see my variety content think I'm a content creator. They just be like, oh well, he doesn't do custom thumbnails. He doesn't focus on quality. He doesn't focus on niches. He doesn't actually present himself well enough. Unfortunately, I personally think I do, but I personally value and high quality of my content to my own understanding of it. Not necessarily if I actually did that objectively, what that would mean, even subjectively, whatever. But for those words at work, again, not trying to focus on communication skills right now. Just not trying to focus on too much right now. Just trying to speak my mind right now. So yeah, those would be the niches, and then the quality. I would, unfortunately, but also fortunately, focus on custom thumbnails for every single video. Have a custom thumbnail that actually is well researched for what I would attract people's attention, and would actually make sense to be succinct enough to work with that. And maybe value their time, so having shorter videos, and then maybe valuing their having quality content that works for that takes longer to make, even if even longer than necessary. There's enough of that I would do in a lingo that if I was still stubborn and contrary about what I wanted to do with it, and I was still like in my own head and ego, like no, I'm not that kind of a person. I could do better, but I could certainly give it a sacrificial opportunity, if that makes sense to anyone. But those were obviously the niches. It was philosophy, claymation, cartooning, soft skills, vlogging, and science communication, whatever else those things, soft skills, you know. So yeah, storyline, yeah, love this stuff. Vlogging. And the last thing I'll say for this video to make it enough for a 13-minute or 14-minute video. I know I have to stop that soon, but that's not even soon at all. But is that you notice that whenever I do relapse to PMO, that I'm not even making a video, if that even was recorded like that. I'm not gonna record myself for relapsing. I did record videos when I relapsing, but that was not for YouTube. That was for my own lifestyle, no fap stimulation stuff. But yeah, but it's not that I would never make a video after as soon as I relapse. It's just that I would never be ashamed of doing that anyways. I don't think so. I made plenty of videos. Obviously I'm making this one right now. Like the hours after I relapsed, but actually not even now. Oh my god. She, but I just I think when I do make videos in between streaks or relapses, it's not that I don't know any better, but it's either very hard to even make a video at all or edit one or whatever or make content after in between relapses and urges, maybe even urges actually. It's not like I would never make a video. It's just that it's so hard to come across. It feels like the urge itself when I relapse is like mind control, and so on the same vein, I guess the same vein is like when I try to make a video on the urge or relapse. It's like not so much low energy, but it's also low mental clarity or whatever, brain fog, whatever. It could be those things, but it also just feels out of place sometimes. So when I'm on a good lifestyle streak for not just things limited to no fap retention, SR whatever, enough. Then it would come down to knowing that I didn't have to be so lost with those things. Because I'm a confused, misunderstood person most of the time anyways, on accident. Not just because of my bad habits or whatever else was going on. But I just tend to be in my own place and thoughts of things. So, I accept you, Tony. Remember that there's nothing more beautiful than desperation, that there's nothing more devastating than pretending not to care. Stay safe in the pandemic, everyone. And I'll see you in the next video or even a vlog at this point.